Thank you, Fiona. On Lookings tonight, the family of a cyclist who lost his life on the Cambridge guided busway welcome the new safety barriers they campaigned for. Stephen Moyer was cycling alongside Cambridge's guided busway in 2018 when he clipped a curb and collided with a bus. He was one of 2 people to die on the section between Cambridge City Centre and Addenbrooke's Hospital. Today his family visited the site to see the new safety barriers that have now been installed. Joseph Hall reports.
Back on track, literally. For the past 2 years, buses have only travelled out of Cambridge on the southern section of the busway. This following the deaths of Stephen Moyer in 2018 and Kathleen Pitts in 2021. But 12 years after the busway launch, a safety barrier has been erected, separating buses from pedestrians and cycles on the southern section.
With the fence, there are safety barriers put in every 100 metres or so, and our drivers will have access to that. So if they need to evacuate the bus, they can open one of the emergency gates and get people safely away from the trap.
Stephen Moyer's family have been campaigning for this barrier since his death.
I don't think many people are going to get hurt along the busway now. It makes me feel a bit regretful. I wish it had been up right from the start. That way my dad probably wouldn't have lost his life and no one else would have lost their life along this stretch of the busway.
Now that the County Council have deemed it necessary to put a safety barrier on the southern section, it begs the question, why not here on the northern section up to St Ives, where, as you can see, buses go along at 56 miles an hour and there's no separation between them, pedestrians and cyclists.
I cycle along there occasionally and the buses do come by very quickly, and there are places that are narrow, so it's exactly the same as, you know, as this section pre this fence.
In May 2023, the Health and Safety Executive said it planned to start legal proceedings against the County Council amid safety concerns. The authority could see legal costs of £1.6 million as it faces prosecution over the busway deaths. But today there's relief from all parties, as the barrier means the busway can finally return to business as normal. Joseph Hall, BBC Look East, Cambridgeshire.
The sister of a man who took his own life after being turned down for a mental health bed has called for a public inquiry into the troubled Norfolk and Suffolk Mental Health Trust. An inquest heard how Christopher Seidel from North Walsham was acutely psychotic in the days before he died. Dr. Kate Seidel, who herself is a consultant neurologist, tried in vain to get him admitted by the crisis team.
The failings were so great in my brother's case, and having worked in the NHS for over 24 years, it's quite clear to me that the changes required are beyond that which is possible from an internal reorganisation. And I think this is only going to be solved by public inquiry.
The Early Cancer Institute on the Cambridge Biomedical Campus has been given £11 million by an anonymous donor. It will fund redevelopment work at the centre, which is dedicated to early detection of hard-to-treat cancers such as lung, esophageal and acute myeloid leukemia. A Paralympic champion swimmer has joined calls for Northampton to have its own international-sized pool. The government recently announced £60 million in funding to be shared between 300 facilities in England. 4 are in Northamptonshire, but gold medal winner Maisie Summers-Newton and her coach Andy Sharp say more investment is needed. A community came out in force today to pay tribute to a postman who's calling it a day after almost 40 years. For much of that time, he's been delivering to the Poets area of Bedford, come rain or shine, and local residents were determined to see him off in style. Nicola Hazler reports.
It's a familiar route for postie Graham McFiggins. He's only been doing it 40 years and is a friend to many, lending a hand, offering advice or just a chat.
Put bins in, take bins out, change light bulbs. I've even put door handles on, open bottles, open jars. Some of them.
He's a friend, he's part of the community, we've known him for 10 years and we will miss him very much.
We have 4 generations in our family who've had this lovely man delivering our mail, who has always been incredibly kind to everybody.
I'm waiting here for Graham. He means so much to us. I've got my door open in case I miss him. This is his last day. I've got a glass of beer ready for him. He occasionally, don't record this, he occasionally has a little sip of something to keep him going in the winter.
Today he's hanging up his postbag and the residents want to thank him.
Graham, well, he's unbelievable. He's like the old community policeman. He knows us all, he spots what's going on in the area. He cares about all of us. He's not just the traditional old postie. He's a friend to each and every one of us.
Are you going to miss everyone here?
Yeah, they've made my job a little bit more enjoyable. They're always there to greet me when it's hot, cold drinks.
It's time for a rest, but he says he'll miss the kindness shown to him.
I get ice lolly. Sometimes I'm kept walking around with an ice lolly in both hands.
Nicola Hazler, BBC Look East, Bedford.
Enjoy your retirement, Graham. Let's get the weather with Alex.
Hello, the weather looks changeable over the next few days. Rain spreading up from the south overnight tonight. Some of this could be on the heavy side. It will stay mild with lows of 9 or 10 degrees. And for some of us, that rain will still be clearing first thing tomorrow morning. So potentially a rather wet start. A series of low-pressure weather systems lining up to bring us some more outbreaks of rain for the rest of the week. Also some windy conditions, and the wind will pick up through the day tomorrow. The early rain clears away. We'll see some brighter skies and then some sharp showers following on behind. They do look well scattered. Highs of around 14 or 15 degrees. Wind gusts could approach 40 miles an hour for some of us into the afternoon. And for the rest of the week, we'll still see some cloudy weather, some outbreaks of rain for Friday, but it is looking much warmer. By Saturday, temperatures could reach 19 or 20 degrees.
That's all from us. We'll be back with breakfast bulletins tomorrow. Have a good night. Goodbye.